In Major League Baseball, you're going to witness a sufficient number of players who are described as quote unquote the future of baseball or the next big thing. Now, as time goes along, you begin to notice which one of those players live up to the hype and which ones didn't. Well, there is one guy who had a bright, and I mean bright future in the league, but things didn't go quite as planned for him. His name is Tyler Beede. Beede was ranked as the best prospect on the San Francisco Giants in 2017 and was described as a player who should be watched closely by MLB scouts. His career seemed like it had a bright future, but we never witnessed him prove it. Beede has had 29 starts over the span of 4 years and is now playing in Tokyo with the Yomiuri Giants. So let me ask the question, how do you go from the best prospect on your team to a forgotten player who is now overseas? Tyler Beede was born and raised in Massachusetts. It was safe to say the people who watched Tyler Beede in high school knew the kid had a future. In his sophomore year, he went 7-1 with a 0.88 ERA in 56 innings pitched. He was playing in Division II baseball. To put it into perspective, here are a few players who played Division II baseball in college and made it to the MLB. Stephen Vogt, Lou Trevino, Steve Cishek, and Scott Alexander. Sure, none of them were top-tier players, but they still had or have had great careers. Beede only got better as in 2010, his junior year, he went 14-1 with a 0.89 ERA and 189 strikeouts in 96 innings pitched, which is insane. Beede played so well in high school that he was drafted in the 2011 MLB Draft. Not only that, but he was a first-round pick. He was drafted 21st overall by the Toronto Blue Jays. Normally in sports like basketball, a late first-round pick player is looked at as an average player compared to the league. But in baseball, it's a whole different ballgame. The fact he was capable of being a first-round pick before even finishing high school is insane. Tyler Beede had to make a decision though. Was he going to pack his bags and get ready for the grind to the majors, or was he going to go to college? I'm sure he put a lot of thought into it, and he ended up deciding not to sign. He was the only player to be drafted in the first round who didn't sign that year. 3 high school players were drafted before Beede: Archie Bradley, Dylan Bundy, and Jose Fernandez. All 3 of these guys had at least one season where they were either in the good to great tier. So imagine what would have happened if Beede took that contract. But anyways, Beede would attend Vanderbilt University. Vanderbilt has produced players like Walker Buehler, David Price, Sonny Gray, and Dansby Swanson. So some pretty good players. Tyler Beede's college career was okay as he had 1 strong season and 2 average seasons. His scouting report was looking quite promising, as it was said he had a flaming fastball going up to a whopping 97 miles per hour. His changeup was a secondary and was described as his best secondary in that time period, and a hard-throwing curveball going up to 81 miles per hour. His biggest problem back then was locating his pitches, and scouts were going to keep a close eye on him not just for the good, but for the bad as well. Beede declared for the 2014 MLB Draft and was drafted 14th overall by the San Francisco Giants. Beede became a full-time starter in AA for the Richmond Flying Squirrels, as in 2016 he was pitching very well, going 8-7 with a 2.81 ERA and 135 strikeouts. He was ranked as the 4th best prospect in 2016 for the San Francisco Giants, and then came 2017, where he was ranked as, according to MLB.com, the number 1 prospect on the San Francisco Giants. However, his 2017 season wasn't great. He went 6-7 with a 4.79 ERA and 83 strikeouts in 109 innings pitched. Because of the average season, he dropped back down to 4th best in the organization. Then came 2018, where Tyler Beede got his call up to the major leagues. He only started 2 games that season and had an 8.22 ERA. In his first start, he gave up 2 runs with 5 walks in 4 innings pitched, and in his second start, he gave up 6 hits, 5 earned runs, and 3 walks in just 3 innings pitched. So, yikes. Yikes is the best way to summarize it. Beede would return to the league in 2019, and this is where he got his chance at proving the Giants why he is that guy. He started in 22 games in 2019 and posted a 5.8 ERA. He had 5 wins and 10 losses, gave up 66 earned runs, and 22 home runs, which was third in team leaders for home runs given up, right behind Jeff Samardzija and Madison Bumgarner. Giants fans were a bit concerned about Beede. I mean, the man was supposed to be this tall, dominant pitcher, but in his first full season, he played like an under-average pitcher. He wouldn't play during the 2020 season due to Tommy John surgery, which could have very well affected his career. But anyways, in 2021, he returned to the league for just 1 appearance out of the bullpen and gave up 3 earned runs in 1 inning. It was starting to become clear to some that Tyler Beede just wasn't that ace they thought he would be. In that 2019 season, he only had 1 start that was actually good. But that 1 start was only 3.1 innings pitched, where he had 7 strikeouts, meaning out of 10 batters faced, he struck out 7. But for the majority of the starts he had in the majors, it was either okay or just not acceptable. Beede would go down to the bullpen for the Giants in 2022, and in 6 appearances, he had a 4.66 ERA. He was DFA'd that same season, then claimed off waivers in May by the Pittsburgh Pirates. He would start a few games, but for the most part was in the bullpen. He finished the 2022 MLB season with a 5.14 ERA, which isn't great in any way. He was DFA'd by the Pirates right before the end of the season, meaning he had no team to sign with. It was then on November 25th, 2022, when he decided to pack his bags and go overseas to play for the Yomiuri Giants. So let me ask the question once more. How do you go from a top prospect in your organization to a guy who underperformed on the big stage and now plays overseas? Well, there are a few reasons why it happened. The obvious is Tommy John surgery. An injury of this sort is one not to mess around with, as it's up there for one of the worst injuries a pitcher could have. However, the surgery has successfully worked in players' advantage before. If you look at Jacob deGrom, he had Tommy John back in 2010 and came back in 2012. And now, he's one of the best pitchers in the league. So Tommy John could have been it, but even before the injury, he still wasn't playing very well. His 2019 season was not too great. His scouting report said his control was a bit of a problem. And the perfect stat to determine how good your control is a stat known as strikeouts per walks. Here is a graph of Tyler Beede's strikeouts per walk throughout his career compared to the average player at that age's strikeouts per walks. Now, as we can see, it was below average at first, but then increased to 2.46 in 2019. Granted, it is above league average, but it's still not that great. If you do a simple Google search, a strong strikeouts per walks comes in at around 4, which is equivalent to what Garrett Cole had in 2015. Let's do a bit more comparing. How about K per 9 and walk per 9? If you take a look at his K per 9, it was okay. He was just under the average K per 9 in 2019. And as for his walk per 9, it was kind of the same story. He just seemed to be regressing every season. Hopefully he finds a way to get things together. But the thing is, he is running out of time. He must prove the Yomiuri Giants what he is all about, and if he even wants a chance to return to the MLB. We will see what the future holds for Tyler Beede. That is going to be it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Merry Christmas to everybody who watched this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And for those who don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays. I will see you guys very soon. I'm out.